Hello, business building warrior. Welcome back to Silent Sales Machine Radio. Today it's just you and me. There's no guest. I'm the host the whole time, and I'm just making some observations. From time to time, I like to record an episode this way where I kind of compile some of the lessons that are being learned in the community, some of the observations we're making as a leadership team as we continue to coach hundreds of students around the world and help them build beautiful businesses. We're learning a lot around here about human nature, about what works, about what doesn't work, about what makes e-commerce so unique and exciting, the unfair advantages that you can get with some simple little mindset shifts that you make that really open up a new world of opportunity. And we'll dive into all of that in just a moment, but I want to make sure you're aware that, hey, we've got a virtual conference coming up beginning of October, October 4th and 5th, maybe the 6th as well. Get to the website, check the details at theprovenconference.com. You'll see a little link to our October virtual conference. This is going to be pouring into you so you're prepared for Q4, which is always the busiest time of the year for shoppers, which means we as sellers, e-commerce business building warriors, that's the time to really take advantage of some of the opportunities that are there. So we're going to talk about that at our virtual conference, and you can join us for free if you're a coaching student around here or a proven Amazon course student, which means there's never been a better time to jump into the proven Amazon course because you get free access to our virtual conference. All kinds of other benefits go along with those, by the way, but we love to throw great freebies in there. It costs a few dollars for everyone else, but you're going to hear sessions about taking advantage of the opportunities in Q4. We're going to be talking about some new subjects you've never heard us talk about before, such as Amazon's influencer program, which is really cool. You don't have to be an influencer online to make some money with Amazon's influencer program. We've got some great leaders on our team who have been experimenting with a system that was developed by some members in our community, and they're doing well with it. We can't wait to show you what we've got going on there. We're going to continue talking about sourcing great replens using creative strategies, such as the ones that we're teaching in our proven bot sourcing course. And then all kinds of other great topics. We've got a panel set up for bundles, talking about building your branded bundles. And I'm just going off the top of my head. You can get to the website and see all the other sessions we have lined up. Again, interactive. You can join us live if you want. It will all be recorded as well for proven Amazon course students and coaching students. You can just check in the learning portal. We'll post it all there afterwards. But a private Facebook group where we can hang out, talk about Q4, taking advantage of all the opportunities of the fourth quarter of the year, as well as kicking off 2024 the right way. That's right. It's right around the corner. Isn't that crazy? And circle these dates. May of 2024, we are going to Orlando, Florida. Theprovenconference.com has details. You want to join us for that event for sure. Last year was incredible. The 2023 event was amazing. 2024 is going to be even bigger and better with some great special guests. Theprovenconference.com has the details on that. Well, hey, let's jump into the content. What do you say? Let's talk about the unfair advantage that you can get with just a few simple mindset shifts or maybe small changes in your habits or the way you approach business. And I want to start here. And I've talked about this before. I talk about it in my Silent Sales Machine book, the latest version, by the way, version 11. You can get it for free if you'd like to grab it. We're still doing that promo. That book has been read by over 1 million people at this point. It has 1,100 5-star reviews on Amazon, past versions, the past couple versions. That's where we sold it on Amazon. It's not on Amazon right now, though. It's only available for free to listeners of this podcast if you text the word free to this phone number, 507-800-0090. We'll stick that in the show notes too, or you can rewind and listen to it again. But one of the things I emphasize in that book is the fact that you have to understand how e-commerce is different from traditional business. Now, I like to say business has been the same since the beginning of time, and it will always be the same. It's about finding ways to add value to your customer's life at a price that you can still make a profit at, and the customer's happy to pay. So it's profitable for you. It's beneficial to them. Everybody's happy. That means you've got a viable business. You're serving people well, getting paid well to do it. Your customers are thrilled. you're making money, you're able to continue serving well without needing any outside help or donations because you got profit. That's never going to change. But e-commerce is different in one aspect, one really, really big, important aspect. And some people fail to recognize this and they struggle with e-commerce as a result because the way business has always been taught up until probably the mid 90s or so, business was taught pretty much the same way. And most business colleges still teach it the same way. They teach it as taking huge risks that probably won't ever pay off. And it works out well for some people, but it just doesn't work for others. And that's really sad and that's tragic. And all those other people, they just lost a bunch of money and there's nothing that can be done about it. That's just the way business works. E-commerce changed the game starting about the mid 90s. I've been playing this game for 20 years, guys. I've seen so many people come and go. You don't have to use the old rules of testing business ideas. You can test an idea very inexpensively. That's where we start all of our new students out very inexpensively for a few $100s. You've got your business up and running and you're testing, selling against listed listings that already have products that you can easily source and sell against. We call it helping Amazon fill the underserved shelf space at their 200 warehouses in the United States. Very low risk, weighed in nice and slow. And e-commerce in general, if you pay attention, can be done that way. You can take tiny risks and learn as you go and never have a big wipeout, never have this big moment where you're putting a lot of money on the line and hoping it all works out someday. It's just not necessary. That's how e-commerce changed the game. To be clear, you can test small, find winning ideas, and slowly scale those ideas. That's how e-commerce changed the game. And why some people refuse to approach it that way, I have no idea. We do have universities that are using our content and curriculum now to teach young entrepreneurs how to build businesses online. So excited to be working with schools like Missouri State University, for example, their entrepreneurship program. They use our content. They're teaching these concepts. Entrepreneurship doesn't have to be about raising a whole bunch of money, trying to light the world on fire with some huge new idea, and only 1 out of 30 times or so does it actually work out and pay off everybody in the end. No, it doesn't have to be that way. Start small. We have so many podcast episodes. If you scroll back in time on this show, silentjimdotcom has links to all of our episodes. You can hear story after story of people who started with a few $100s, maybe a couple $1,000s, which included everything they needed for the course, for all the tools they need, for the initial inventory. And then without ever putting any more money into the system, they slowly tested and scaled into a beautiful business. So you've got to understand step one. If you want to have an unfair advantage and you want to take advantage of all that e-commerce has to offer, all that the Amazon opportunity has to offer, you've got to understand e-commerce can be approached differently than traditional business. You learn as you go is another different way. It used to be if you wanted to launch a business, you had to learn for a long period of time and then take a risk and hopefully go build something. No, here we believe in the just-in-time education process, which means you're going to learn what you need as you need it. Our proven Amazon course reflects this philosophy. Our proven Amazon course is always growing and expanding, being updated, old stuff being purged out, new stuff added in. Sometimes people ask us and they say, hey, how long does it take to go through the proven Amazon course? And I say, that's kind of like asking, how long does it take to read a library? Like, you're never going to actually read a library. By the time you get halfway through, the other half of the books that you thought you'd read, they've all changed, been updated. There's new versions, right? That's how e-commerce works. So you don't try to learn it all. You learn what you need to get started. And then just in time, right when you need it, you learn what you need next, which is what makes coaching so valuable. We'll talk more about that later. So in e-commerce, you're always going to be learning. You're never going to learn just in case information. Like, I might need this someday. I'm going to learn this just in case. No, you're going to be learning what you need just in time because the game's changing fast. You're testing small. You're nimble. You're launching multiple income streams eventually. So that means you're going to be learning a lot of new things over the course of time. So it's another thing that makes e-commerce different, makes it special. And hopefully that's resonating with you. And hopefully I'm starting to change your mindset a little bit, unless you already believed these things to begin with, that this isn't as intimidating as you thought it was. You're not taking any big risks. You don't have to go learn a bunch of new stuff. You can get started very simply and learn what you need as you go. Because again, there's no big risks here. There's nothing scary waiting on you. Wade in nice and slow. Another thing that you need to be aware of is, if you didn't know, I mean, I'm sure you've probably figured it out. It's probably why you're listening to podcasts like this one. There's a lot of people making a lot of money with e-commerce. You've heard them interviewed on this show, hundreds of episodes. We've interviewed students who are very successful, in some cases with six-figure a month plus businesses, multiple seven figures a year. Did you know that 90% of all businesses have a similar struggle? They never have a seven-figure sales year, never. 90% of all businesses that are launched will never have a seven-figure sales year. Yet you see all kinds of people in our community doing that. Does that mean everyone does it? Does that mean we guarantee that's going to happen? No. There's no end to the number of ways that you can destroy a business. You can be lazy, you can make bad investment choices, you can have marital struggles that force you to lose your focus, health issues, all kinds of things can derail a business. But the people who stick with it and follow the program and put in the blood, sweat, tears, and the sacrifice, the systems we teach here, they flat out work. Well, why is that? Well, that's another thing you need to be aware of when it comes to e-commerce and business opportunities. Where's the true opportunity? You avoid the smoke and mirrors, the stuff that looks good, those Instagram and TikTok videos, the people showing the results in the cars and all that. That's easily avoided. You guys know how to do that, right? You've heard me talk about this before. It's so easy to avoid the illegitimate opportunities and experts and make sure you're only listening to the people who are actually producing results for their students. You remember how to do that, right? That the magic question you can ask anyone who claims to be teaching information about growing a business. The simple question is this: hey, where can I go to hang out online with your students who are succeeding and struggling through the business models that you teach? Because we all know business is a struggle. So if there's transparency, there are going to be people in there talking about the struggles they're having, the situations they're running into, they're confused. Something I'm so proud about, our free 73,000 member Facebook group, there's a link at silentjimdotcom, is we're very transparent. People struggle. They make bad choices. Weird things happen. Amazon's unpredictable sometimes. We share those things. And we also share about 1,900 so far instances of people saying, hey, wow, I just had a new record sales month. Wow, I just had a beautiful new opportunity drop in my lap. Look, I just had a record setting sales day, $3,000 in a day. Everyone celebrates, or they made their first sale and now they're convinced this can work for them. We've got almost 2,000 posts like that of positivity and excitement, along with very realistic expectations. So if you're looking to weed out the bad ideas from the good ideas, you want to have an unfair advantage in e-commerce, how do you do that? You look for communities of people who are succeeding using proven principles. That's what we've got here. It's pretty rare, actually. And after, again, 20 years of using the internet as the only source of income for my family and I've learned to have a pretty good filter. Is it perfect? Of course not. I can still be fooled, but I've learned to ask the right questions and to proceed very slowly. If I can't test small and lose small as I'm learning a system, I'm not interested. That's the way business used to be done, taking huge risks. You just don't have to do that anymore. So that's some good tips so far. Hopefully you're enjoying this. And again, this is all in the interest of giving you an unfair advantage, if you will. Some people don't like when I say unfair advantages. They think we're being exploitive. We're going to exploit our customers. We're going to pull money from people who regret it later. No, we're selling products to happy customers who gladly would have paid more. How do we know they would have paid more? Well, because they paid what they did and they were very happy. They didn't ask for a refund. So we're serving very happy customers, running a profitable business, using a platform that is simply exploding. So it's important for you to realize when I say a platform that's exploding, why Amazon? Sometimes people say, Jim, why are you talking about eBay or uh, Facebook Marketplace or some of these other websites, Etsy? Why don't you talk about some of these other things? Well, hey, you can make some money there. That's great. Yeah, those guys are good. There's some things that can be done there. But if I want to give you the best odds of putting some money in the bank, the lowest risk, lowest amount of money put into the game, the lowest learning curve in order to start to build a real business that can sustain and grow and be systemized into something beautiful, the highest odds of succeeding, we're talking about Amazon FBA specifically. We're talking about the replens system that we teach in the Proven Amazon course. So why Amazon? Well, because that's where all the eyeballs are. Amazon.com gets all the attention. Half of all retail activity online any given day in the United States, about half, nearly half, is on Amazon. All the other million websites share the other half. You add up the top 3 or 5 other second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth place. They don't even come close to what Amazon does. That's why we spend our time talking about Amazon. That's where the eyeballs are. That's where your highest odds of having a nice win happens, right on Amazon.com. So we're talking about a big trend that's growing. Amazon is exploding. E-commerce is exploding. We're talking about a low risk opportunity. Is this starting to make sense? I'm trying to give you an unfair advantage. There's a lot of things we could be talking about, but we've got something that's producing a lot of success stories, a lot of very successful businesses, people talking transparently in an open, free forum about the opportunity. I'm giving you every advantage. Well, here's some other things that can derail you. Remember, we've coached nearly 10,000 people over the past 20 years in e-commerce. We've been coaching Amazon success as a focus since 2012. It was the first Amazon seller training course in the industry when we launched the Proven Amazon course, and it's gone through many iterations and improvements since then. But we've learned some very valuable lessons, and one of them is I've noticed that a lot of people come into business in general, doesn't matter what the business is. It could be dog grooming or hair salon or e-commerce, but they come into it with a mindset that's simply broken. One of the reasons I'm such a fan of my good friend, Rabbi Daniel Lappin, who will be, by the way, the keynote speaker at our May 2024 Proven Conference. The website again, theprovenconference.com. But one of the lessons he taught me early on was a lot of people struggle, and our culture struggles with the idea that business is virtuous, that profit is merely proof that one human served another human really well. Unless the person who bought the item wants a refund, that means they're happy. And they gladly exchange the funds for the product voluntarily. That means two people won. That means that's a virtuous activity. That means you're serving someone really well. Business is a beautiful way to serve other people. Every transaction is the beginning of a mutually beneficial lifelong relationship, ideally. So business is virtuous, but a lot of people feel guilty or they feel like they're taking somebody from someone. The example that's often used is maybe you did some babysitting when you were a kid and the parents come home and they say, all right, what do we owe you? And you look at the floor and you struggle and you're a little shy and you're embarrassed, like, I don't want to take money from these people. Well, you just provided a very valuable service and they want to pay you. That way, when they need you again and they call you or they text you, you're going to be eager and excited to go back again because you know it's a mutually beneficial arrangement. That's what business is. You've got to see the virtue in business because if you don't, you will undermine yourself. You will find subconsciously even creative ways to destroy your business. If you see this as exploiting people and taking money from people when you shouldn't be, you're not going to succeed. So if you want an unfair advantage in business, you've got to imagine all those happy customers who would have gladly paid more for what it is that you offer. They saw your offer as a bargain. How do you know? Well, because they gave you the money voluntarily for that product. You're serving them well. Convenience, time saved, getting them exactly what they need without a whole lot of research time. That's what Amazon provides. I saw an estimate one time that Jeff Bezos put together in his annual letter to investors, talking about the millions of hours of time saved and translating that into real dollars for people being able to stay home. Their kid's sick. They don't want to have to run out at 10 o'clock at night to the drugstore. They hit Amazon Prime. Boom, there it is, what they need, right when they need it, right on time. The time saved, the fuel saved, the inconveniences that are eliminated. And you're helping fuel that machine. That's just the Amazon business model, by the way. Every business is this way. As long as it's not a product that consumers are forced to buy, as long as they have the option to not buy it, you know that they're buying it out of choice. Well, you're providing a valuable service that's making people's lives better. So you can do it with pride and you can be excited about it. Be proud of the service that you offer. Don't be arrogant. There's a difference between arrogance and pride, by the way. I'm not going to dive into that right now, but you can be proud of a business that serves others well. And for us, we see it as our ministry. It's a great way to begin to connect with other people, begin to build a lifelong, mutually beneficial relationship. That's what a transaction is. It's the start of that. Hey, we'll get back to the show in just a moment, but I want to tell you about a way to save a nice chunk of change on all your online shopping and in-store shopping by using discounted gift cards. We've got a new sponsor on the program with a free report they want to give you, no strings attached. Go to silentjim.com/gift cards. That's silentjim.com/gift cards, one word. It's in the show notes as well, that link. What they do is they put together a report that shows you all the places you can go to get great discounted gift cards. And they also offer the service themselves, selling gift cards to many online sellers, our community included. So it's a pleasure to bring them on board as a sponsor. Again, the link one more time, silentjim.com/gift cards for that free special report. Let's get back to the show. Be proud of the service that you offer. Don't be arrogant. There's a difference between arrogance and pride, by the way. I'm not going to dive into that right now, but you can be proud of a business that serves others well. And for us, we see it as our ministry. It's a great way to begin to connect with other people, begin to build a lifelong, mutually beneficial relationship. That's what a transaction is. It's the start of that. All right, so how else can you get an unfair advantage after you've got your mind fixed? And that's not easy, by the way. It's not easy to take this belief that's in your head and really absorb it into your heart, where you truly see the virtue in every dollar that you've earned as evidence that another human was served really, really well. And now you've got more seed money that you can do the same thing with again and serve even more people, even more efficiently. That's what business is. But once you've got that down, along with the other lessons we've learned so far, there's just a few more that are going to give you a huge advantage. This next one is the people you surround yourself with. You may have heard this saying before. I think it's a Jim Rohn quote. I can't remember for sure, but basically the only difference between who you are now and who you're going to be, say, 5 years from now is the content you're consuming and the people you're around. Or you may have heard it said, you are the average of the people you spend the most time with. Who is your community? Who are your people? I heard a pastor say one time, if you find your people, you can find your purpose. Have you found your people yet? I'd like to propose that you hang out in our Facebook group, that you come to our live events, that you get into the Facebook group, that there's a link at silentjimdotcom, 73,000 of us. And in the welcome section up at the top, it's the featured section, actually. There's a welcome video that shows you how to connect with other people who live near you. So you can start to connect with other e-commerce business building warriors, people with an abundance mindset, people that see business as virtuous, have conversations with them, people who are succeeding in their own businesses. Those are the people you want to hang out with. That's a huge advantage. If you're hanging out with people that say, oh, businesses all exploit people, capitalism is evil, anybody with money is the rich, and we should just be eating them, like they have it many times in history and destroyed entire civilizations. No, the business owners are the people that keep civilizations afloat. The virtuous business owners who are providing valuable services, who are working hard to provide value for their customers, who have to rely on voluntary transactions to sustain their business. Yeah, those are good people almost across the board. Here's an illustration of how that applies in my own business as evidence of that. You may have heard us talk about our 60 coaches on our coaching team. The interview process is pretty simple there. It's based on a lesson I learned again from my good friend, Rabbi Daniel Lapin, author of a great book, by the way, Business Secrets from the Bible, if you haven't read it. His last name is Lapin, Lapin, Lapin. Look him up on Amazon. Look for Business Secrets from the Bible. Tremendous book. But one of the lessons I learned from that book was it's the only thing I know about someone is that they've run a successful business over a sustained period of time, profitable business with happy customers. That's all I know about them. I don't know their age, their race, their education, their marital status, their worldview, their belief systems, their politics, if they are a pet lover or not. I don't know anything else about that person. All I know is they've run and managed profitable business over an extended period of time with happy customers. That person is one of the safest bets you can make because it takes a lot of leadership skills, self-sacrifice, It takes a lot of being other oriented, future oriented, where you can delay gratification. I mean, that's a skill set not many people have. Business owners need that delayed gratification. I'd rather spend this $1,000 on fun toys for me instead of inventory that might eventually turn that $1,000 into $1,300 a couple months from now, right? It takes discipline to think that way. So if all I know is you've made a series of decisions that have allowed you to run a profitable business over an extended period of time, well, hey, you're a safe bet. If I could find out that you've got a teacher's heart, you're kind of other oriented, you enjoy talking to others about how to be more successful in their business, you put those two things together, that's a pretty short interview, isn't it? That's all I have to do to find great coaches in our community. We go to proven Amazon course students who are having success, who have a little bit of time margin in their life, who have a teacher's heart. We say, hey, you want to coach some other people on the same path? It's a pretty easy process. That's how we've grown a community of incredible leaders that supports this community. But back to the point, how do you surround yourself with that kind of people? Well, you can get a coach, an easy way to do it. Pay us. Be building a relationship with one of the great leaders on our team who's doing just that. There's a link again at silentjimdotcom for our coaching program. Call us, have a free consultation, very low pressure. We'll just talk through your business goals, see if it's a good fit. So you can do that. You can get into our Facebook group. Like I mentioned earlier, there's a welcome video at the top in the featured section that shows you how to connect with others who live near you, near your main hometown or whatever town, big city you happen to live near. There's probably a group of e-commerce business building warriors from our community who are connecting on a regular basis. You can also use that same welcome video to get a couple of their ideas on how to connect with others who live near you or attend a live event. The Proven Conference in May, for example, that's a great way to do it. So many great relationships have come out of this community. And why am I spending so much time on this? If you listen to this podcast frequently, you've heard me talk about relationships. Probably 80% of the episodes where I appear, I talk about it because I see that as the single most important delineating factor between people who make it and people who don't. There's not one big secret that determines who's going to make it in business. There's a bunch of factors that go into. It's kind of like flying an airplane. It's like, hey, Jim, what's the one most important thing in flying an airplane? Well, I mean, there's a lot of things going on here, man. There's lift, there's thrust, there's all kinds of factors. There's mechanical factors, right? There's pilot error factors. There's the weight factor. Like, what's the one? Like, no, it takes a lot of things going right to fly a plane, just like to make a business profitable. It takes a lot of things going right. Anybody can crash an airplane. Anyone. That's not a skill. Keeping one up, mechanics of it, the excellence in engineering and all the people who go in, there's probably 1 million people involved in making an airplane, right? Everything from the guy painting the logos to the company that invented the rubber that makes the tires, right? There's a lot of things going right. Business is the same way. There's a lot of things going right to make that plane fly. But if I had to identify the one thing that seems to separate the people who make it from the people who don't, it's relationships, being relationship focused, surrounding yourself with others who are doing the business, being encouraged. Iron sharpens iron is the biblical concept. We learn in Genesis, in the Bible, first book of the Bible, there's a scripture that says, man is not meant to be alone. God said it. This isn't good for guys to be alone. And he wasn't just talking about marriage. He was talking about us as mankind, as humans. For us to be in isolation is not good. Don't let e-commerce isolate you. It's extremely important that you not let that happen because you will get burnout. You'll feel like a lone wolf. You'll feel isolated. You hit a roadblock and you just kind of throw in the towel and give up. It's important to have a community and always be growing that community of people who know, like, and trust you because you're pouring into their life. Enough on that. I could talk for another half hour. Let's move on. Staying on the cutting edge is important. That's another thing about this community. I'd like to think, and can easily demonstrate at any given time, we're a year or 2 or 3 or maybe even 5 years ahead of the curve on so many of the things that we do around here. We used to be all in on eBay. That was until about 2011, 2012, when we started noticing, wow, Amazon's got some interesting offers here. We were an eBay community. And then we saw that the shoppers were heading towards Amazon and that Amazon was a more neatly organized opportunity. The shopper experience, the FBA, the opportunity to store your inventory at Amazon versus in your garage. We started educating on it very early on. There were no Amazon experts and gurus at the time. We just started as a community exploring like we always have done and staying ahead of the curve. And at this point, we've taught thousands and thousands of people how to sell on Amazon. I was even invited out. I've been invited out for the second time here coming up soon to Amazon's headquarters in recognition of the sheer quality and volume of the community that's been built around the things we teach here. That's staying on the cutting edge. Being in a community of people who are trying new things, sharing with an abundance mindset, meaning, hey, there's enough success for all of us here. You can't have a scarcity mindset. That's actually another tip for having an unfair advantage. The scarcity mindset means, boy, I better get my success fast because if someone else beats me to it, oh, that's just going to be bad and I'm not going to have any success. That's not how the world works, especially in the expanding world of e-commerce, where it's like we're taking little spoonfuls of water out of the ocean with this opportunity. So how silly would it be for someone to show up at the beach and go, "Oh, look, there's already 1,000 people taking spoons of water out of the ocean. There's no room there for me." No, bring your spoon, bring your bucket, bring your wheelbarrow. Let's go. There's plenty for everyone, and we can teach and learn from each other on how to continue to grow. So that's staying on the cutting edge. You got to be a part of a community. You got to have relationships to do that. You've got to always be studying. That's another tip. Always be learning new things. How much time is carved into your day or your week to learn new things? For me, up until about 10:30 or 11 in the morning every single day, I'm listening. While I'm getting my exercise, doing my morning routine, getting my time of prayer and study, and waking up. The first thing I do is pray before my feet hit the floor. Thank God for another beautiful day. Just think of all the ways I'm so blessed. Then I'll have some time in the Word, read some scripture, listen to some praise music. Maybe then I'm out on my run. But at that point, then I am listening to educational content, new ideas, new e-commerce concepts, people from our community who are trying to develop new ideas. I'm checking out what they've sent in to us. The first part of my day is all new, refreshing, new. And then I get into the stuff that has to be done to maintain what's already been built. Do you have a time like that where you're focusing on new ideas, new concepts, educating yourself, staying on the cutting edge? You need to, because there's so much out there that's changing so quickly. And if we're multiple income stream warriors, that means we're building systems that are self-sustaining or almost entirely self-sustaining that needs very little input from you. You've got the right people in place and you're able to focus on new income streams. So you set it up, you put it in place, you put good people in charge. Maybe it's virtual assistants from the Philippines that cost $3 or $4 per hour, and they're doing a great job. And then you build other segments onto this machine of multiple income streams. That's how you do it. It's going to take relationships. It's going to take learning new content constantly. It's going to take staying ahead of the latest trends, which is what we do here, our podcast, our community, the Proven Amazon course by default. You pay a few dollars a month, you're going to get the latest ideas well before other people are talking about them, because the great ideas float in this community, and we reward people very handsomely for proving out new systems that benefit all of us. So there's a constant stream of great new ideas coming your way. Okay, what's the last tip I can give you here? A couple last tips as I'm looking over my list. We've had a really good list here, I think, of things that give you an unfair advantage, help you stay on the cutting edge in Amazon and e-commerce. But the next one is you've got to climb that leadership ladder. You've got to see business as a leadership journey. Let me explain what I mean by that. Have you ever seen the pyramid that we talk about around here, the pyramid of Amazon opportunities, where you start off at the low risk, easy to learn level, easy to test, easy to fail, easy to win. It's hard to scale to a really big level. We do have some seven-figure sellers who use just our base level replens model. Or even you can think of this as just maybe a level below that, which we don't really encourage, is just going to stores and scanning barcodes and look for stuff that's on sale and flipping it. That's almost borderline mindless work. We can teach you how to do that in about 30 seconds, right? Open up at eBay or Amazon and just see what it's selling for there. And if it's selling for less on the shelf and there's enough room for profit, boom, snag it. That's a hamster wheel. Always looking for Easter eggs. It doesn't take a lot of leadership skill to do that, does it? But we're going to climb this leadership skill ladder. What's that next level up? It requires a little bit more team, requires a little bit more skill, a little bit more thinking. That's the replens. Well, now you're starting to build a system, though. You're starting to build an asset. Your leadership skills are coming into challenge just a little bit. Well, what's above that? Well, now we're talking wholesale. Now if you weren't talking to store managers before, well, now you're having conversations with real people. You're getting on the phone, you're sending emails, you're setting up Zoom meetings, you're using your mouth, At each step up the pyramid, you're using your mouth more and more. You're becoming more of a leader. You're able to explain to others what it is you do, who you are. And we encourage you very early on when people say, "Oh, what do you do? What do you do for a living?" We always ask that, right? So, what do you do? Well, here's what you do. You use the internet creatively to launch multiple income streams, and you specialize in helping people sell stuff online. You can sell just about anything. You can help just about anybody sell just about anything. You're going to be the most interesting person in the room and a whole lot of conversations if you start presenting yourself that way. And then you can articulate what it is you do. You're going to have opportunities come at you. So, what's at the top of that pyramid as we climb the different stages where you're using your mouth, you're using your leadership skills, you're building a team? What's at the top? Well, the thing that we often put at the top is the proven product partnering model. Well, that's just pure helping other people build beautiful businesses using Amazon as the platform. Many brands out there in the world, millions of them, have no clue what they're doing on Amazon, and you can help them get there. It's going to require conversation, it's going to require leadership. You're going to have to sell something to somebody, you're going to have to sell your skill set. Right? So you go from not using your mouth at all, not using your leadership skills hardly at all, to stepping up the pyramid, and suddenly you're at the top and you're doing things like creating content, maybe even start launching an agency. You have employees, maybe you have an office. You're managing these systems. They're very reliant on you being able to interact with others. That's the leadership journey. And if you're determined to do business without ever having any leadership skills required, the odds of your long-term success are borderline abysmal. That's just not how the world works. You're going to need others. You're going to need to build systems where others can step in and help you out at different times. There's no such thing as just set it and forget it, done with it forever. No, you're going to need a team. You're going to get sick. You're going to get distracted. Something's going to happen in life. You're going to need others to come around you to hold up the systems that you've built. You will need other people. Temporarily, maybe you can build something that kind of sustains. But the people who make it long term are climbing that leadership ladder, surrounding themselves with other really good people. Maybe it's you call it your team. Like for me, I call my team 112 people. Only a small handful of them are actual employees. The rest of them, they contribute to this community and to the courses and content and to my business. In some cases, just a couple hours a month. In other cases, it's very part-time work for them. But they're all contributing in a significant way to this community, to my business, my Amazon, eBay, Facebook Marketplace, our events, this podcast, the Facebook group, our courses, Proven Amazon course, the coaching program. Those people are all on a team. I'm on a team with them. My role is to serve them well. That's leadership. You're going to need that as well. So don't shy away from leadership. This is your secret advantage. Your unfair advantage in e-commerce is you're using your mouth, you're having conversations, you're getting on Zoom, you're picking up the phone, you're texting people, you're building relationships. All right. So, what's the last big tip I can give you if you want to accelerate this whole process? One of the things you can do that pretty much hits almost every topic we've hit on, and it just adds fuel to the little flame of each of those topics we've hit on. Get a coach. Get one of the great coaches from our team, or find a mentor on your own, someone that's been doing it a while. But you need someone who's been a little further down that road than you are to help encourage you on in your journey. Man, that's what a coach is. Get a coach. We have 60 of the best cream of the crop students of the Proven Amazon course who have risen to the rank of coach in our organization, who love serving others. They've got a little extra margin in their life to help others one-on-one build beautiful businesses. There's a link at silentjimdotcom. You can set an appointment on our calendar, have a conversation with one of our consultants. Like I mentioned before, it's a very low pressure conversation, but they'll definitely answer all your questions, help you make a really, really good decision. And speaking of margin, these people have margin in their life. Do you have margin in your life? That's one of the more important considerations for getting into business or coaching. Do you have the margin? And we hit on this on a recent podcast episode, but the mental, the emotional, the psychological, the physical, the financial margin, if you're strained in all those areas, now may be a pretty difficult time to start a business. Do you have some extra room in your life in those areas? If so, man, it's just a matter of you putting in the work, time, and effort. Let's go. And if you're looking for motivation in that area, you don't have to look very far to find busy couples. We've got single moms homeschooling a good number of kids, holding down a full-time job while fitting this business into the cracks of their life, building beautiful businesses. using Amazon and using the internet creatively. That's what this community is all about. So don't let your time on Netflix be your excuse. That means you've got some margin. If you're watching any entertainment, you've got margin in your life that could be used to go towards a business. And we're here to help. If you're ready to get started with the Proven Amazon course, provenamazoncourse.com. That course has helped thousands of people. Go just read over that website. We keep it very up to date. So many great things going on inside of that course. Very proud of that. So for $39 a month, you get everything that we know about Amazon, all of our modules, everything from brand new people who have never touched e-commerce before, all the way up to six-figure a month sellers who are looking to tweak their processes and learn some new creative income streams using the Amazon platform creatively. So many ways to make money on Amazon that we've discovered, and it's all in one course. So go check it out. All right. God bless you, business building warrior. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Hopefully you enjoyed my list of ways that you can gain an unfair advantage in e-commerce and on Amazon. We'll have another great episode for you again very soon. Looking forward to spending time with you then. Talk to you soon. Hey, before I let you go, one last reminder about an easy way to save money on every purchase you make online or in stores by using discounted gift cards. There's a free special report that's been set up by our latest sponsor, Arbitrage Card. You can get this report, tells you how to go find these great discounted cards. Go to silentjimdotcom/gift cards. That's silentjim.com/gift cards, all one word. The link is in the show notes as well. Go grab that report.